Okay, so Amar Rav Shmuel is where this next piece starts. Now again, Amar Rav Shmuel Bar Yitzchak. So this is an Amoira because we're going to need this later. So Lo Shano Eila. So with the day of the fourth, you only have the fourth day. Elimi tekanat Ezra ve'elech, from the kind of Ezra where you have the Dim that are fixed. She'en Dinim Kavua and Eila b'Sheni ve'Chamishi. That's the tekanat Ezra. Aval koidem tekanat Ezra she'Dinim Kavua b'Chol Yom. Isha nisis b'Kulam. So the woman can get married any day. So we kind of saw all this last time. So we have the two toises at the bottom here. Isha nisis b'Chol Yom. So kasha l'Rashba. Amai nisis b'Chol Yom. Why are they allowed to get married every day? Teheka almana v'tinasei behei v'tibol b'shishi. V'shenemar bo bracha la'adam. Now, we had before 3 reasons why you should get married on a Wednesday. Only one of them was because of the Dinim. So therefore, because the Dinim are got rid of, so therefore you still have 2 reasons left over why you should get married on a Wednesday. One is because of the bracha, that there's a bracha on Thursday and Friday, which we'll see on Daf Hey, and therefore the Tashmish will be on the Thursday, will be on the Yom Chamishi. So therefore, that's a reason to do it. Another reason is Shoktu. So the Gemara itself will talk about Shoktu, but Tosfos is bringing up the third reason as to why you should still get married on you could be like an almana. You get married on Thursday, and then you can be boil on Shishi. So you have the din of bracha la'adam. So you have the bracha of fish on Thursday and the bracha of Adam on Friday. So we said before that it was an Eitzah Toiva Kamash Malan. There was only a good idea for that the bracha was not enough to actually tell people that to get married. It was just that if you want to makayim this bracha, it's a good idea to do it, but it's not enough to make it tekanat and all of Yisrael. But almana nami lo kavu shedibel b'shishi misham bracha greda. And also because even the din that we have by an almana, it's not only because of the bracha, because we haven't really dealt with yet why does an almana have to get married on a Thursday. We said a basula is on a Wednesday and an almana is on a Thursday. We haven't dealt with this din yet. So Tosfos is kind of giving us what we'll see later, but it's not only because of the bracha why the almana is on Thursday. As we're going to say later on Daf Hey, so you have this idea of shoktu, but it's a different shoktu for the basula. Basula, so basically, we'll have. I mean, the basic din is that the man will go to work if he doesn't get married on a Thursday. So on Friday he'll be with his wife, on Saturday and Sunday, and then he'll go back to work. But if he marries her on a Wednesday, so he'll go to work on Thursday. So it's a tekanat for the almana that he stays with her for a long weekend. That's why the almana gets married then. Because the besula, we don't need this reason for the man to have a long weekend with his wife. Because we're not going to say by a besula that he's going to get up and go work. Because by a besula, the 7 days of Sheva brachas. So the idea, Tosfos bringing up this idea that by a almana, really the almana can be moichel the whole din of the Sheva brachas. The almana gets 3 days of you can't call it 3 days of Sheva brachas because the Sheva brachas is 7 days, so it's 3 days of shalosh brachas. But there she can be moichel it, and the guy doesn't really have to give it to her. Whereas the Sheva brachas, the guy is like a king, and therefore it's also for him to do malacha for those 7 days, and therefore for sure the guy's going to stay with the besula for 7 days. But the almana, her 3 days of feasting, he may not opt in on that, and therefore they were fixed that he would marry on Thursday. So we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the party. So therefore, because the bracha on its own is not enough reason in order to be fixing the day. So therefore, by the basula, you've only got one reason left, and that's a bracha. By the almana, you have the two reasons, that you have the long weekend and you have the bracha. So those two will work to have the almana getting married on Thursday. But just by the basula, so therefore she's only got the reason of bracha because she doesn't need the reason of the long weekend, and therefore because of bracha on its own, then we're not going to kaviyah her a day. So the woman can get married every day before the kind of who cares. Have a hachikamar. So what we're saying, if there is a bated din that is fixed today, like before the tekanat Ezra, the woman gets married any day. So we had gone through that before. Now this Tosfos seems to be a bit flip-flopping all over the place. So if there are batei dinim who are meeting every day, so nira le'ri de mekol makom ein nisas b'shishi. So Ri says, well, we aren't going to get married on Friday, right? So even though it is your keva b'kol yom, you have a beis din every day, you're not going to get married on Friday. So the beis din is going to be the beis din is going to be on Friday. But then if you get married on Friday, so then you're looking for a beis din on Saturday. Daha ain't down b'Shabbos, and therefore there's no beis din. Even though we said that there's an Eichah beis din every day, there's no beis din every day. There's a beis din every day except for Shabbos, because it's the Mishnah that says that we don't do dinim on Shabbos. So there's no beis din on Shabbos. So ve'ata noigin af b'shishi. So what just happened here? Tosfos just flipped, because he just said that we have a kaviyas every day. Then you don't go on Fridays. Is that not what the way we have it today? Because we were saying before that really when you're before the tekana, there was a fixed beis din. That doesn't mean fixed beis din. It means whenever you're ready for it, and that's what we have today. So when this whole Tosfos is going on, Eichah beis din that this keva every day, he says that you don't get married on shishi. Daha ain't danim b'Shabbos. Ve'ata noigin lisha af b'shishi. But now we have the minhag to get married also on Friday. Misham de'ein beis din kavuyim, because there's no kaviyas of the beis din. So now Tosfos seems to be going back on what he said before. Shabbat dim kavuyim b'chol yom, and he says that they're not really keva b'chol yom. So you have to move on to a terrace of something like this. Shelo hayu kavuyim techila ela be'irachas. That there is that some type of kaviyas every day. Because we had a few terutzim in Tosfos, but here we're saying that Eichah beis din, this has to be going where you have a beis din kavua beforehand, and then afterwards today, viata has to be where ain't beis din kavuin. So you have a kavias every day, and now we don't. So you have to go back into this Tosfos up here of Shabbat dinim kavuin b'chol yom as to see which terutzim it works for, and which one it doesn't. So since they're not fixed, im yesh lo tainis besulim yechol lekabol b'Shabbos. So what's Tosfos doing here now? That if you have a tainis of besulin, which is what we need the beis din for, you can go and complain on Shabbos. But we just said that there's no beis din on Shabbos. There's no dinim on Shabbos. There's no beis din on Shabbos. So why now? Because you don't have a kaviyas. Then now that you can go complain on Shabbos. But if shalosha, is shalosha not a beis din? It's the whole bedatz. Everyone's a bedatz because you just get three people together. Now you have a beis din. Kamor b'shari mos ha-shavua, like the other days of the week. So what exactly is going on here in Tosfos? What's he talking about? He just said that we can't be done on Shabbos, so therefore you can't get married on Fridays, but now we can get married on Fridays because you can just get a beis din together. Like, what's he talking about? What changed between what changed between before and after? Now, someone wants to say that you need a minyan beforehand and you only need three now. That would be an absolutely ridiculous thing to say. It's an anonymous tip for many reasons. First, I mean there are halachas of how much a beis din, how many people are in a beis din. So you'll have three people for moment. The pashtus here is that the guy is trying to be makobel, that he doesn't have to pay. He's complaining he doesn't have to pay the kusova. So this is דינים momenos, and דינים momenos is 3. And if the thing that we needed a minion, and now we only need 3, so then just get a minion together. And why is it so much more difficult? So just get 10 now if you need, or get 10 then. But here, Tosfos here says Yechol lekabul. He's able to complain. He's not. There's no din here. What Tosfos says ain't danim b'Shabbos. But here we're saying that he's Yechol lekabul. That he's only making a claim. He's just basically making a statement in front of 3 people on Saturday. Now, if he can't find the 3 people, again, as we said before, the problem is that he'll wait until Sunday. But once Sunday comes, he'll already be mapious to his wife. He'll like his wife, and then he'll stay with her ba'isr. So we need him to do some type of act on Shabbos itself. So he's just going to complain before 3 people, and since that there's no kavias of based in. So therefore, you just gather 3 people. They don't become a basin. They just become 3 people you're giving edus to, or that you're complaining in front of. Whereas when you have a kavias of basin every day, so then you don't get 3 people together, because you only get the 3 people together when there's a kavias, when there's a basin. And since it's a basin every day except for Saturdays, therefore you're not going to get the 3 people. So the other days of the Shavua, you just gather people together. So if you need a basin, you gather people together. But when it's koveya every day, so then you don't gather people together ever. If you just gather people together, you'd be like, just go to the basin. There's a kavias of the basin today. Go there. You're not gathering people together. But since afterward there's no kavias, the way you get a basin is by gathering people together. Therefore, you just gather people together, and then they don't dan on the object that you just complain about it. For odd. So now again, this is Tosfos' teretz as to why today we are noigin l'shiv. You can get married even on Fridays. We saw a dig before. If you look through the previous video, we saw a dig before that even on Fridays, you could get married. And this is the shittas to read now. For odd, what's this odd doing? Odd leperisha contras davka b'yamehem kavu yom hanasuin. So the pashtus of this Tosfos of Va'od is just saying that we have another reason why we can get married on Friday, according to Rashi. Because according to Rashi, that davka b'yamehem kovu yom hanasuin mishom da'al yedei kach yispora hadavar v'ibu edim. So again, Rashi's whole shita is that edim will come, and you'll find edim mitoch shenasafzu ha'am lebeistin. So that since you have a basin and you have the basin kavua, therefore the people will gather. And then so people will come. So people didn't seem to have much to do those days. So they will just come whenever the basin is fixed. People will come and see what the basin is up to. And then Reuven will come with his claim that Sarah was not so besula. So then everyone will be there to see what the gossip is. And because you'll have this asifa of people, then within those people, maybe you'll find some edim that know part of the story that they can then yispar hadavar. So you have 2 steps here. One is that you have 3 steps. Step number 1 is that there's a kavias of the beis din. So you kavu yom. So since there's a kaviyah and there's a kavias day, therefore you'll have mitasu ha'am, that the people will gather together on the day of kavias. And because the people gather together, then you'll have the aviyu edim, that either the people that are watching the din will have edus themselves, or they will speak to people and get at the word and ask around, and then edim will come. So from these 3 steps, but it all starts off with by having a kaviyas yom. So the ein shaykh loimer achshav kach. So since you don't have a kaviyas of beis din, so there's no kaviyas of beis din, therefore you won't have a gathering of the people, and therefore you won't have the Yavo Edim. So therefore the whole reason for Rashi to have it specifically on Wednesday, it goes away, and therefore you can have it also on Friday, because the whole gathering of the beis din, because again Rashi is holding that it's a sveika and that you need to mevar this fake sveika, but you don't have the ability to mevar this fake sveika because you without the asifa, so therefore you're not going to get the yavo edim. So Pashas here is that's just another reason why you can get married on Friday. So since everybody just gathers together, Tosfos is giving you an idea of how this works. That if you have a tanis besulim, b'fnei shlosha, you just gather three people together. So when you gather three together, there's no call. So even if you go to Din on Sunday, there's still no call. So therefore, Rashi's whole reasoning kind of falls down, and therefore, the Chorus Pashtus, you can get married on Friday. Ha be'inin shoktu. So the Gemara here is now asking the question: how can you get married every day? You need shoktu. You need shoktu. So Rashi says she hit Torek V'Suda Shlosha Yomim, so that you are working for the Suda for 3 days. So the Gemara answers to Tarechle that he put the effort in. Im Tarech Lefnei Shabbos V'Tikun Sarchi Suda. So if he worked before Shabbos and he fixed the needs of the Suda, Kunse Be'eche B'Shabbos or B'Sheni B'Shabbos. So he's worked before Shabbos and he's taken the Sarchi Suda. Now, did he take in the Sarchi Suda before Shabbos? Now, there's a shot in this in Rashi's sheet in general, or the Taruch in general. The Shoktu, do you need 3 days Ritzufim? Might see something a bit later. But if you need Ritzufim, so then V'tikun Sarki Suda, then you can if you need Ritzufim, so then you have a nice chiddush here in Rashi, because you can enter her ba'acha b'Shabbos. That's if you have the 3 days of Ritzufim beforehand. But then he adds the b'chiddush, or even b'sheni b'Shabbos, that since you were working 3 days Ritzufim beforehand, so therefore one Shabbos comes, you don't have to marry her on Sunday, even though the food's ready on Sunday. You can even push it off to Monday and all the other days. Because again, once here Rashi says you can get married on Sunday, then every other day's matter is mutter as well. Because we are saying here that you're getting married on every day. And then we say, we know you can't get married on every day, you need shoktu. So he says, no, he put the effort in. He did the shoktu. So once you do the shoktu and you can get married on Sunday, so for sure you can get married on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. But the pashas would be, if you get married on Monday, so then your shoktu would be Thursday, Friday, Sunday. But then here, even if you need Ritzufim, you can still get married on the Monday. You don't have to get married on the Sunday. Now Rashi here brings out a big point, which goes back to the earlier time we had Shoktu, which is, Rashi here is explaining the case of where there is no, this is called ha'idehnah. So today you don't have the kavias of the Din. Now you don't have the kavias of the Din, you can get married every day. But you still need Shoktu. Rashi says, if you do the tircha lifnei Shabbos, and then you do the tircha suda, then you can get married on Sunday or on Monday. Now, if Rashi only said that you can get married on Sunday, so then the chiddush now would be that when your nisas b'chol yom, it would be Sunday and every other day. But Rashi says davka, he adds in Monday. So therefore, so Monday has to be a case of when it's after the Batel of the tekanat Ezra. So therefore, there's a hekesh here between Sunday and Monday. That when can you get married on Sunday if you do shokdu and you do all the work before Shabbos? Only when you can also get married on Monday. But if you can't get married on Monday, then there is no heter to get married on Sunday. Why? Because of shokdu. And even if you were tarichle, it doesn't help, and you're not allowed to get married. And therefore, when the Mishnah says, because again we had two reasons in the Mishnah why you have to get married on Wednesday. One is because the Din, one's because shoktu. But the Mishnah itself only says Wednesday. So it's the maklokas rishonim as to whether you can get married on Sunday or not if you do shoktu before Shabbos. So Rashi here, l'cher is mashma, that in the Mishnah you have to get married on Wednesday. But if you're shoktu to tarichle, when can you get married on Sunday? Only when you can get married on Monday. And in the Mishnah, you can't get married on Monday. You have to get married either on Sunday or Wednesday. And therefore here, since the Shoktu before Shabbos is only when you can also get married on Shabbos. This whole Rashi is saying where it works on Monday. But so therefore only where it works on Monday, that's when you can enter her on Sunday. So therefore in the Mishnah, you davka have to get married on Wednesday, even if you were Torah. We'll have to see as far for that. Now, the Gemara here asks, my Shoktu, what is this din of Shoktu? Which again, we've had the Shoktu before, so why is it asking? So Rashi says, my Shoktu, heichen shadinu Shoktu, de makshinan le haka imishom. So, how can we say Shoktu that we can ask here? So, if it's because the Amar Shmuel la'ayol, so Shmuel said above, Lislan la'oisvei minei la'amura achrina. So again, we said down here that this is the whole Mamre of Amar Rav Shmuel Bar Yitzchak. So this is the din. And he says that you only have to get married on Wednesday, but now you can get married every day. What about Shoktu? So you can't ask from Shmuel on Rav Shmuel Bar Yitzchak because it's to Amarayim. So therefore here we're looking for a Tanaic source. So then we have the Tanya, which is a Tanaic source. Why do we say that the woman gets married on a Wednesday? And that's what the Mishnah says. And if he had the Tainas Besulim, he'll go to Beistin. Bettina said, this is the question, so get married on Sunday. He'll go on Monday. So then this is the Brisa, Shoktu Chachamim al Tekanus Bonus Yisrael, Sheyeh Atem Torech Besuda Shloshi Yamim. So that the man will be Torech in the Suda 3 days. Now, this is all I need. This is the Torech, 3 days. Look what the Gemara says here. Echa b'Shabbos, v'Sheni b'Shabbos, v'Shalishi b'Shabbos. So on Sunday, on a Monday, and on Tuesday, u'b'Revi koinsa. So then on Wednesday, then you marry her. So what is the din of Shoktu? Shoktu is that you're Torech on Sunday, and on Monday, and on Tuesday. That is the Tana. Uber Revi Koinsa. And on Wednesday, and Wednesday marry her. Now, seemingly Wednesday marry her has nothing to do with Shoktu. What's the price of saying here? Shoktu Chacham and Tekanat B'Schanim. She Adam Torech B'Suda 3 days. That's all I need. Sunday, you have to be Torech. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, you have to be Torech. That's a Shoktu. So again, this is good like Rashi, that only in the time. Then you have to be Davka Torech on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So therefore you can't do it beforehand. Uberavi Kunsa, that's nothing to do with Shoktu, that's to do with the din of marriages. But here, seemingly, that this Uberavi Kunsa is part of the tekana of Shoktu. That the whole Shoktu is that it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then get married on Wednesday. So therefore only once the whole tekana of Shoktu is so what's Rashi saying here, that now that there's a bittul of the Beis Din, then you can get into Shoktu and then you can get married on Monday. But if you don't have a bittul of the Beis Din, therefore the whole tekana stays, and the whole tekana is Eicha b'Shabbos, Sheni b'Shabbos, Shlishi b'Shabbos, U'Revi Kunsa. Therefore, it's mashma in the Brisa that getting married on Wednesday is part of the tekana of Shoktu, and therefore once you have the whole din of Shoktu, so then you can't change it around. So we have the Ran on the Dafei Arif. ולפיכך לתמוה על מה שסמכו עכשיו לישא בשישי. So for today, there's temuah on why we get married on Friday. Afal pi shekavias based in Shabbat b'chol hayamim, even though that the kavias based in is week equal every day. El sheish loymar dekaven dechozu le tekanas revi. That since they saw fit that the tekanas revi ain't a kavua, that it's not fixed. The ha'amrinan di'i kibate dinin kavuim b'chol yom ishanisis b'chol yom. Alma kol hecha deicha lemicha shetanis b'sulam lo ich b'chlan. So once we don't have the to worry about the Tanis B'Sulim, we don't care. So the Ran here is saying that we said that if there's a base in kavua b'chol yom, then the isha can get married every day. So therefore, whether you don't have to worry about tanis b'sulim, we don't care. So ma'akesher. So af echshav v'teres halalo kevin shelo nagu lekadesh ela ad zman nesuyin. So this is what we do today. We have the nesuyin and the b'sulim, the nesuyin and the kedushin together. Lekel amichash. We don't have to worry about it. Makdishim koidim zman nesuyin. So we do the kedusha. So we do the chuppah, and then we have the woman like under the chuppah gets the ring. So they have the makdishim koidim zman nesuyin. Iklamichav shemet tachtav as zinta. So there they would makdish beforehand, a long time before. There would be a separation, there would be a period in between. Therefore you have an iklamichash shemet tachtav aval b'mokomos halalu sheroivim makdishin. But these places that everyone here that we're makdish and konoitz la altar leiklamichash. So therefore we don't have to worry about this whole din of going to Beis Din. So therefore, if there's a tanis of besulim, therefore beforehand, so that's a different din. Now, what's the Ran in itself is fine. However, it seems to be a break in the logic here. That he has this whole svara of that we don't need the basin today because there's no sveika. Because since we do the kedushin and we do the nesuin at the same time, so therefore it's vadai by us that if she was mizan, if she was zunus, if she had zunus beforehand, therefore for sure it was before this time because she wasn't married before, and therefore if you find a pesach b'tuach, so therefore she's not usher to you because you just married her now. And she wasn't mizana between the time of when you got married, between the wedding night and the time that you're having tashmish. So therefore, today we don't have this issue. Therefore, you don't need the basin at all. So why is it that? But that reason on itself is enough to say to get married any day because you don't need the basin. We don't need the basin anymore. So why does he start off? Sheyesh laimar to kaven dechazu to katanas revi in a kavua. Who cares about this katanas revi not being kavua? So why is this then in that sense we don't have kaviyas basin anymore? Therefore you can get married every day. Well, today we don't. I don't need that. I don't need this whole thing because we don't need the basin mechlal. So why is the Ran being Toila? He has a savara to say that get married any day you want. That it's nothing to do with the basin on Wednesdays being bottled, the bottled tekanat Ezra. It's nothing to do with that because I don't need the basin anymore because we do kedushin differently. So why does the Ran need to include this whole thing? Chazar tekanat revi eni kavua. Is that clear? The problem in the Ran. So just say that. We don't have tanis b'sulim today, therefore get married whatever day you want. So therefore, the Ran doesn't need this whole reason of chazar tekanat revi in a kavua. I don't need the bottle of tekanat Ezra. It seems superfluous of the Ran. So what's he doing? See the Ritva. Iike debati dinu kavua heidnã perish. V'ha kemashmalan dafagav de davar shebeminyan sarech minyan acher lahatiru. Even though that. When you have a base din and you have a din, you need another base din to bittel it. Shiny haka, the miikara, kashen nishnis mishnah. When the Mishnah was taught, al das kain nishnis the ki ika bate dinan kavum b'chol yom lider dina kemiikara. So the Ritva is here saying that when they made the din, that only when the base din is koveya b'chol yom, then you can have. Then leader dina dimiikara. So when the tekanat Ezra came in, that's when the Mishnah came in and said that you have to get married on Wednesday. Part of the tekana they have to get married on Wednesday is that if the tekanat of Ezra is mabatel, then you can go back to how it was originally. So we have the Shulchan Aruch. So the Shulchan Aruch says, "Mashkim shir nisgalu." You have drinks that are revealed. Asurim chachamim techashim shem nachos. If you leave drinks overnight, It's also to drink from them, because we're choishesh that maybe a snake drank from them, v'hatil behem aras, and he put his poison into them. V'achshav she'ein nachashim mitzuyim benenu mutter. But now that the snakes are not around us, therefore it's mutter. So then this is a big pella as to when can we just mevatel dinim of a beis din, and when can we say, oh, well, the reason doesn't apply today. There's lots of times that we say the reason doesn't apply today, and it's still usher. But here we say, oh, well, the akshav, we don't have the reason anymore. We don't have snakes, and therefore I don't need to follow this law anymore. So when are we going to mevatel dinim of a beis din, and when do we say that even though the tam is bottled, we still have to keep it? So the Mata Yonatan is commentary on the Shulchan Aruch. This is Yonatan Eibshitz. So he says, so they said that he's going to answer this question. The Pri Chodosh, he brings that they archu leman de metzino harbe devarim shenesru b'minyan. We see many things that are aser by a beis din after a tam batel, even though the reason is batel. Mikomokom, we need a minyan acher lahatiru. So therefore, we're going to need another beis din to matter. And we can't just say, oh, it doesn't apply today, therefore I'm a vatal. So this is the truthful separation between them, as opposed to other ways to make a chiluk. That for sure, whatever the chachamim were mevatel without any tanais could go on to lo lasos malacha ba'erev pesach acher chatzos. So, for example, this is a low plug of the rabbanan. Whenever you have a rabbanan, it's a low plug. Therefore, it's never mevatel. So there's an isser to do malacha on erev pesach acher chatzos because of the korban pesach, so that you don't get busy in your malacha and forget to do the korban pesach. Or shelo lachol samach lemincha be'erev pesach. We don't have a big suda. That's the sort of samach lemincha gedol tanan. After hashtalikha korban pesach, even though today we don't have the korban pesach, so therefore the whole reason of getting into this suda or getting into this malacha that you're going to miss your korban pesach. It doesn't matter if you miss a korban pesach. We don't have a korban pesach, therefore you can't miss it. The bottle of time, mikol makom kevan the kavar nisra b'minyan mivli shum tanai hashta nami aser. So that since there is no, so what he's saying here by tanai is that you have no makom, no area of heter of where everybody is aser for the to do malacha on erev pesach because of the korban pesach. So you'll have a person who's tameh at that time, and therefore he's not bringing a korban pesach today. He's tamei meis. He's not bringing a korban pesach today. So therefore, the reason doesn't apply to him, even in the time of the tekanat of Chazal. Even though for him they still aser him to do malacha. So there's no plug that even for him, where the specific tanai, the specific reason, the specific tam of Chazal doesn't apply to him in the time of the tanai, and it's still he's not allowed to do it. So therefore, hashtanami aser. That when you find out somebody who the time doesn't apply to, that back in the time of the tekanat, it still didn't apply to him, so therefore hashtanami aser. Masha enken heicha de b'shash shinisha hayebat tanai. But when the time when you aser there was a tanai, kamo chalav or goy shel goy shetzarach lehiyos yishal yoshev v'reihu. So what's the whole time that we see that the time doesn't apply anymore? That it was aser, but when the tam doesn't apply, therefore it's mutter. So that's obviously the case of Chalav Yisrael or Chalav Shel Goy. That you need to be a Jew who is sitting and watching him. So the whole reason of Chalav Stam was aser because maybe he's going to mix in Chalav Tameh. So therefore, if a Jew was watching him, therefore wouldn't be aser. So hashtanami she'ein beninu davar tamei. So therefore, the whole reason was just for the tamei. There was never a din that goy milk was aser. The din was always goy milk that didn't have tamei milk mixed in with it. That was what was aser. Therefore, when a Jew watches it, even in the time of the iser of goy milk, you could have heter of goy milk at the same time. Because you saw that there's no davar tamei, therefore you see that it's all based on the reason and it's not a low plug. So hashtanami, that we don't have davar tamei, that we don't have tamei milk, imkain have a kamo yisrael roehu, and therefore that there's no iser of chalav stam today. The af the b'shas ha'gezerah, after b'shas ha'gezerah, lo nesher b'ki ha'gavna, because there was no lo plug. When you know there's no tamay in it, even at the time of the gezerah, it was mutter. Therefore, it wasn't osir then. K'mokein nami by giloi the mitchila lo nesher giloi ela misham aras shanachas, because the whole iser was only because of the aras ve'im yodei shaloi and nachal shemutter. And if you were in a place, so there's also a case where if you have your uncovered liquid up on a high place, that uncovered liquid on a high place, since snakes can't go up to high places, therefore it's mutter. Therefore, even at the time of the gezerah, you have a tam of mutter. Imkein hashd lo shchiach nachashim have a kemota, have a meshura, that you have a strainer v'rosh and achash lo shota. So it's like ve'al zeh kiyotze ba lo yeta gezerah mitchila. So therefore, the gezerah mitchila wasn't on such a din. V'lo shaykh b'zeh kol davar shebeminyan sarach minyan acher. So when you have that, something that at the originally when you had the gezerah that's osering it, therefore the iser is only even at the time when you make it that you've built in mokum heter into it. Therefore, there's no din of lo plug, and therefore if the tam doesn't, if the reason doesn't apply, therefore the law doesn't apply. So therefore, by snakes, when they made the gezerah, there was a built-in tam that if it doesn't apply to you, it's not osir. So too, by milk, if there's nothing tama in it, therefore you can drink it. And so too, so now going back to our case, so the Ritva is saying that when they made the original tekana, they said that it's only when tekanat Ezra comes in, therefore that only the time of the tekanat Ezra is the time where there's the isser of getting married any other day other than Wednesday. But once you get rid of the tekanat Ezra, and therefore you can have the din any day, therefore you can get married any day. And therefore we see this in the words of the Ran as well, because the Ran says that I can get married every day. If you don't have this yisoid, so we'll have a big kasha on the Ran. And the Ran, let's let the Ran just say, today we don't need based in because we get married and we do the kedushin and the nesuin at the same time. Therefore, we don't need based in. Since we don't need based in, therefore get married any day. So you'll say to the Ran, low plug. It's a low plug. The Mishnah says get married on Wednesday. And even though the time is bottled, the halach is not bottled. Therefore, the Ran says originally, since we see that the tekanat Ezra was mevatel, and therefore you get down every day, so therefore, even then when the time doesn't apply, therefore you can change every day. So therefore, we see that today the time of the basin and the time of the Mishnah getting married on Wednesday doesn't apply. So therefore, so to us, we can mevatel the din of getting married on Wednesday because that time doesn't apply to us. Now the Brisa continues. Sekana ve'elech no gu ha'am likanos b'shlishi. So we just had this whole thing, you have to get married on Wednesday, and this is a brisa, so therefore we're in the time of the Mishnah, therefore you have to get married on Wednesday. But from Sekana and further then, there was a minhag of the people to get, that they would get married on Tuesday. And the Chachamim did not make a mocho. They did not complain about this. Ubisheni lo yikanes, and on Monday, don't get married. But in machmas oines, mutter. And if because of oines, then it's mutter. Mutter what? Mutter to get married on Monday. So that the chatan is not allowed to have tashmish with his wife on Shabbos night, techila, if that's his first bia, because he makes a chabura, that the breaking of the besulim is a din of Isser on Shabbos. So that's the end of the brisa. So Rashi, min Sekana ve'elech lekaman mefarishla. So later we'll explain what is this Sekana, why from the Sekana and further can we then now also get married on Tuesday. So b'sheni lo yikenes, on Mondays don't get married. B'shvil otir Sekana, because of the Sekana. Ve'ein sarech la'oiker b'shvila tekanas chachamim. Ela yom echad. So on Monday you can't. So what's this saying? Umi Sekana ve'elech. That there's a Sekana, Sekana's nefashos, everyone's going to die. Then you can get married on Tuesday, and the Chachamim didn't care. But don't get married on Monday, lo yikenes, because of the Sekana. Yeah, that's how it makes bishvil ot Sekana. Don't get married on Monday, because you can't oiker the Tekanas Chachamim. You can only do it one day. You can't do it 2 days. Are you crazy? Once you're oiker, if everyone's going to die. So then you can oiker the Tekanas Chachamim for 1 day. But to be do it for 2 days, don't be silly. Now, here Rashi v'yehi tayrech micha shnei yamim b'tzorchi suda. What's Rashi doing here, adding on that you'll be tayrech in 2 days for the tzorchi suda? So ubisheni lo yikanes, and therefore he's getting married on Tuesday, but he has to be tayrech anyway 2 days for tzorchi suda. Now, what does this do it for 3 days? They pushed it back, and he's getting married on. So you're oiker the tekanat only 1 day, and therefore you're terech 2 days for the tzarchi suda. So he's getting married on instead of getting married on Wednesday and doing shoktu Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then he's getting married on Tuesday and doing shoktu of Sunday, Monday. Yeah. So why can't we do a shoktu of Thursday or Friday, Sunday, Monday? Why is there only shoktu of 2 days? And why is Rashi adding this in? There's a diok here that shoktu has to be ritzufin. And that since shoktu has to be ritzufin, has to be all in a row, therefore, if you push it back, if you say, well, you're going to get married on Tuesday, but you have to do the Suda Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So then you have all the food sitting around for 3-4 days getting spoiled. So therefore you'll do it beforehand. Therefore you'll do it 2 days. So therefore Rashi is saying you have to davka for 2 days, Sunday, Monday, because you can't do it for 3 days beforehand. If it was just a shoktu of 3 days stamp, so therefore he could do it on Friday, Saturday, and Friday, Sunday, Monday. But since it has to be ritzuf, and therefore it has to be 2 days, you can't do it. It has to be 2 days because you can't do the 3 days in a row. For Shabbos, you can't mitaken that because the food's going to be battle ready. So therefore, since we have the din of shoktu has to be ritzuf, and therefore it has to be 2 days. This is what Rashi's saying here. That since you put it, since the chachamim, because it's a sekana, so because of the sekana, we'll let you off 1 day of shoktu. Because we can't do it, because the alternative would be to have the 3 days going Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's what he was saying on the previous Rashi before, where he has the 3 days, where the shini im tarach lifnei Shabbos tikkun tzorchi suda comes to be'echa b'Shabbos. How would he do it echa b'Shabbos? It would be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's the same shoktu now, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for Monday, because it has to be ritzufin. And now here, what do you do if you're getting married on Tuesday? Is toreach miha shnei yamim b'tzarchi suda. Like, we're not going to force him to have the 3 days and wait all the way till Tuesday. But since it's ritzufim, we'll let him off the 1 day. These words of Rashi are completely superfluous, if not. And where are we getting from? I'll give you a svara. If the shoktu has to be ritzufim, again, just like in the Brisa, Sunday, Monday, all these days are after each other. So then I'll give you a svara that he can't do it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because it's too far from Tuesday that we're going to mintaken that. But if it doesn't have to be ritzufin, so why not have to have the 3 days and do Friday as well? Now Tosfos doesn't like this. So b'sheni lo yikanes. Perusha contrast the field of b'shas hasakana to ein loiker b'shvila tekanas chama elo yom echad. So that's just to quote a Rashi. Kashalari the amar lekaman my oines. So Ri is saying no, you can be oiker more than 1 day. What are you getting so hung up on? So later on, because we've had in our brisa, we've had a thing called Sekana, and we've had a thing called oines, machmasa oines. So then the Gemara later on says, what's oines? Rashi here says lekaman mifaresh ve'im machmas oines lekaman mifaresh. So the Gemara says, my oines ilema hada amrin, and if the oines is the Sekana, hasam is called Sekana, and here it's called oines. Havilei lemifrak, it should have asked better. The reisha l'seifa, the katani reisha b'sheni lo yikanes, that on Monday you're not allowed to marry. So you're allowed to get married on Monday for oines, but for Sekana you're not allowed to get married on Monday. And that's Rashi Shita. So therefore you should have asked better the reisha l'seifa, because it says in the reisha that on Monday you can't get married, even b'shas Sekana. So therefore, for oines, if oines is Sekana, you can't get married on Monday, but all of a sudden you can. So therefore, that's a bigger stira. So Omer Ritzba de Mishum Hachi lo Parachle. So that's not a good kasha. Mishum de Ikle Ferusha, because you can explain it in a different way. What does imachmas onis mean? Perish yesh sekana af biyom shalishi. So that you have that you can understand shalish, that the sekana is only on revi, but an oines would then be sekana also on yom shalishi. Then it's mutter likanes b'sheni, and therefore for sekana you can also understand on the sheni. So that's how the Tosis is understanding it, but the read obviously doesn't like that teretz, the chayra to have both being called Sekana and the Oines being the same, that it's called if you have a Sekana on Yom Shlishi, then that should also be called Sekana. Why is all of a sudden a 2-day Sekana called an Oines, but a 1-day Sekana is a Sekana? So the re answers differently. The multa ba'afet. So again, the first Toisvis, so V'kasha l'ri, so the re here is going to learn this completely differently. Ba'afet nasha. So the multa ba'afet nasha here. So he reads it like this. So on Wednesday, then you get married. But no, goam and the Chachamim didn't make a complaint. So now we're back on the case of Wednesday. So don't get married on any other day except for Wednesday. We're going back to the Mishnah, which has nothing to do with Sekana anymore. And also it's any other day you can't get married either except for Wednesday. And on Tuesday you can't get married, and on Fridays you can't get married, only on Wednesdays. So you have the obvious question, why are you saying ubisheni lo yikanes if every day you can't, it's usher anyway? So we just said ubisheni lo yikanes, and any other day ve'machmas oines on sheni, then it's mutter to enter. So that's the reason. It's a bit of a funny reading of the brisa here. Ubisheni lo yikanes, and any other day except for Wednesday you can't get married either. But we're saying davka b'sheni yikanes because machmas oines it is mutter to get married on sheni. So therefore, that's how Rashi would learn the brisa according to the Ri. Now, the Gemara is not going to ask my Sekana. So my Sekana, ilema, you want to say that emi darani besula ha nises leyom revi, that any besula that gets married on Wednesday, tihareg, then you should kill her. So we'll see more about this at tekanas later, but there's basically the tekanas of the goyim, that since the chachamim are saying that you should get married on Wednesday, we want to uproot the tekanas of the chachamim. We want to stop the Jews doing the Torahs of the chachamim, and therefore, since the chachamim said get married on Wednesday, anyone who gets married on Wednesday, so therefore we'll kill them. That is a tekanas of the goy. So then nogu, says the Gemara, legamri niakare. Completely, we should rip it up. We should uproot it. Why is it nogu? In order to get married on Wednesday, we should completely remove the tekana on that you should get married on Wednesday, because the chachamim saying get married on Wednesday, and the goyim will kill everybody who gets married on Wednesday. Now, this Gemara itself is not necessarily so clear, because there's a din of Yarg Ve'al Yavar, even for shoelaces. It says in Sanhedrin that if the goyim want you to wear red shoelaces, Yarg Ve'al Yavar, you should die rather than wear the red shoelaces. So the Chachamim, why are they uprooting their tekanas? They could always just uproot tekanas. We have to see what's this idea of legamri niakare, that the Chachamim in the face of death in the face of the goyim are going to completely rip up their tekanas. Amar Rabba to Amri Besula Hanisis Biyom Revi. So Rabba says this isn't the case that they're going to die. What the din was is that a Besula, that it was married, that gets married on Wednesdays, Tibo le Hegemon. So the Hegemon is like the Greek officer. He goes around town and he goes first with the woman, and therefore the hegemon is wants to have relations. Tehila this is for Shabbos. He mafrishin no tomi menu lel Shabbos nogu bitmia sekanas nefashasi, and you said that nogu likonis biyom shlishi aval miikar revi legamri lo akru, but to completely uproot it, they didn't uproot it. So Rashi here niakare v'yitakanu lehem yimim acherim. Again, this goes into what's going on with Yarek V'El Yavar. That Rashi here says that you uproot day Wednesday, and you'll have to fix for them another day. So we'll have to see how that answers anything. So, Hi Sekana Oinasu. Gemara asked the question, why are we calling this Sekana? It's an Oines. If somebody is raped on their wedding night, this isn't called Sekana, this is called an Oines. So therefore, why are you calling it a Sekana? Mishom te'ikat tznius the mastrum nafshayu le katala, but aisin lidei Sekana. Because there are tznius, there are these women who are machmir, that they were masr nefesh to die, and then they come to Sekana. Now again, what does this mean to be masr themselves to die? Katala means death. So if they're masr themselves death, why they will come to Sekana? I mean, they'll come to Sekana. If they're masr to death, then they will. Then they're dead, aren't they? And va'aitin lidei Sekana, and it will come to Sekana. Now this masr nafshayhu it's a machlokas rishonim as to what this is. But what does it mean that they're why are they masr nefesh? They're going to be chas v'chalila raped on their wedding night. So what are they masr nefesh for? So you want to say it's Gili Rayas, so therefore you want to say that Yarek V'El Yavar, I don't want to do the Gili Rayas. Since they don't want to do Gili Rayas, so then they will masr nefesh lekatala, and because of that they will bring themselves to Sekana. So the Gemara answers Velid Rush Lahu to Oinashari. So let's darshan. You can tell them, don't worry about it. Since you're oines, since the woman is an oines, the oines is mutter. So therefore, it doesn't come under. If we're saying here that the women don't want to be over Giliarayas, so therefore women who are oines and Giliarayas, it's mutter. It's mutter for them. They don't have to be Yarek V'El Yavar. So that's how we should be Dairish Lahem. So Rashi, the nivlis ba'oines eino ner rasa al baila, that if a woman who has relations ba'oines, she's not asur to her husband. So Rashi here is not learning bechlal that the problem of the masr nafshayu is anything to do with the isser of gili rayas. It's that the women don't want to be asur on their baala, and since they don't want to be asur on the baal, so therefore the alfin so therefore they will be moiser nefesh. So we learn lakamon and perach dalid mivehila nifsha v'lo lamasher nafshay lamita. So that there's a Israel who is ma'anes, is not asur to her husband, but an Ashes Cohen is. So Rashi's not learning anyway. Rashi's learning that the women are being moiser nefesh, so they're not asur to the husbands. But our Rishonim that learn that they're moiser nefesh, so that they don't have to be over gili rayas. So that why can't we tell them that oines is shari? Because the zika prutzas ve'ika nami kahenas. So prutzas that if you were makilin lahu avdi barotzen. So what do we care about the prutzas? The prutzas, it's mutter. Oines is shari. So Rashi says that the prutzas will have since if you say that the oines is shari, if you're makel, then they'll do a barotzen. And if they do barotzen, then they're asur on their baal. So therefore the prutzas will come from, even though oines is mutter, they will come to do a barotzen. The economic kehenes. Now kehenes, the posh pshat of a kehenes is just a female kohen, but that's not the pshat here. Some say kohuna. Rashi clearly it's a Ashes Cohen. Generous al balei, because they're also on their husbands af ba'oinus, even with the state of oinus. Ve'enu masr nafshai lemita, and ve'inhu, when they will masr nefesh for mita. The Eishes Kohen shenisher asr labala for lekamam perchtav dalat yaflina. So the same place where we see that it is mutter to a Israel is also to a Kohen. So here, so just to end the sugya, get rid of the gezerah. Avida de Batel. So we're saying get rid of the ho'eo vizmanu to Ica Sekana, since there is a Sekana. So let's get rid of the gezerah. So they say that since that the gezerahs or the gezerah of the goy will be Batel, but the tekanat shabbanan becoming gezerah lo akrinin. So therefore we don't get rid of the tekanat chachamim because of a tekanat goy, because the tekanat goy will be Batel eventually. So therefore we don't have to uproot the tekanat chachamim. Now we're going to have to go deeper into this idea, the literature the oines shari. So they're basically saying, whichever way that you look at it, that you can get into a state of gili rayas, but it's okay. It's on it because again we could oiker the gezerah, but we're just going to instead we're saying that we can just tell them that the oines is shari. So how can you have a case of where you're going to put yourself into a state of bekuach nefesh in order that you can then be oines and then go against the halacha? So we see this come out in the Maor talks about going on the ship. You're not allowed to leave a ship. Mutter lehavik besfiina fila be'erev Shabbos. You can go out on erev Shabbos. Im holech l'davar mitzvah. But if it's a davar reshus, you can't go out on a boat less than 3 days before Shabbos. So this is the halacha, that you can't go out on Shabbos on a boat that's less than 3 days. So the Maor gives a reason. Rebana ein mafligging besfiina pachim mishosh yamim kodem l'Shabbos. Perush harif lachas besfiina gosheshes v'achar kach chozru bot shuva. Perush tamim misham bittul oinig Shabbos. So there the Rif says because it's bittul oinig Shabbos. V'linira tamacher, but I have a different reason. So says if you're going to be stuck on the ship, the Rif says if you're stuck on the ship on Shabbos, you don't have oinig Shabbos. But the Maor says I have a different reason. Bein bezu, bein b'masha amru ein sarin al arayis shal nachraim, that you can't start a war against goyim. The kulachim becomes Sekana. So because Sekana, who? Because shloshim mei kodem l'Shabbos kamishabta mikra. So only 3 days before Shabbos called Shabbos. V'nira ka matna litchos es Shabbos mipnei she'ein tavish omi mipnei b'koach nefesh. So it's like that you are making it tonight that I am going to break Shabbos because she'ein tavish omi mipnei b'koach nefesh. So there is nothing that stands before b'koach nefesh. So if I leave on a ship 3 days before Shabbos, so therefore going on a ship will bring to b'koach nefesh, and therefore I'm going to have to break Shabbos in order to save my life. So since 3 days before Shabbos, I can't just go on the ship, get myself lechatchila into a place of b'koach nefesh, and then I can break Shabbos. V'hu adin lahafresh b'midbaros, and going out in the midbar. V'kol malcham Sekana she'adam atid lechalel es lechalel es ha Shabbos. So the Maor is saying, and this is how it's brought down in halacha, that you can't put yourself lechatchila into a place of b'koach nefesh, so then you can be oines, and therefore you can break the halacha. So that's the halacha. The different pshutim. So therefore, why here all of a sudden the lidrash lahuda on a shari? You can go lechatchila into something that is you could go lechatchila into something that is b'koach nefesh, and therefore it's the onus is mutter. But this isn't true in a halacha. You can't put yourself lechatchila into a place of b'koach nefesh in order that you can then break the halacha. So we actually have the teretz for this. If you look through your notes, we have the teretz, but we'll look at it in depth further